This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to Pyramid One World Radio. Let me tell you about the hosts of the upcoming show, A View of Humanity. Maggie Clark was just voted and given an award for the best psychic in Phoenix, Arizona, 3 years in a row. Evidential psychic medium Maggie Clark offers powerful and accurate validations of the spiritual dimensions around us. As a spiritual teacher, Maggie shows how to integrate the natural psychic senses with the empowerment of spiritual knowledge to help create a more fulfilling life of love, happiness, and success. Maggie's avid curiosity to understand how his gifts work have led him to participating in scientific studies about the afterlife and mediumship. As a master educator in spiritual development, Maggie shares his wisdom through his podcast, Psychic Evolution, the podcast where you discover the psychic potential within and learn how to empower yourself and manifest your psychic and mediumship abilities. Maggie Clark is also an author of the children's book series, The Adventure of Rocco and Tuki, The Kids from Mars, Book 1 and 2, as well as the Psychic Evolution Training Cards, and the Maggie Isms, Philosophies and Isms of a Psychic Medium. Now, let's talk about Maggie Clark. Maggie Clark is the co-host of the Psychic Evolution podcast and a prolific spiritual coach and accomplished healer. Maggie is committed to helping people find a way to blend their spiritual life with their everyday life for empowerment, healing, and growth. The author of 365 Days of Tarot, Inspirational Tarot for your daily life. Maggie is a gifted tarot reader and astrologer. Maggie also has a healing arts practice in energy healing modalities. Together, these two team up to show you that your psychic senses are so natural, they are supernatural. Okay, now put your hands together. Let's bring them on. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Bobby, good to be here, man. How you doing?
You know what? I missed you guys last week or the other week or something like that. I was going to call you up and say, "Oh, you want to talk to me on the phone?"
Heck
No.
yeah, man. You always talk, man. We're always good.
Oh, for God's sake. I mean, we've been doing this for so long. And you know what? I never get tired of having you on the show. And there's a couple of other guests in that I have too that I've had. I maybe my second guest and then my career to doing this and that. He happened to come in the other day and said, "You're still on?" I said, and then I said, "And still breathing." You know, and like he was like, "I can't believe it."
Excellent. And you know what's really cool is over the past couple of years, there are so many people that are being activated. And they're just like, oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know what it is, but I'm ready for it. And I love that because they're not understanding a lot, but they're activating it. They're ready. They're on. It's information. And they're tuning themselves in because I have a lot of people over the past few years that they're just like clicking on. And a lot of them are very abundant. They have a lot of money. They'll be like, no, I'm very successful in that, but there's more. I just feel like there's more I'm here to do. And I'm like, freaking brilliant. Exactly. And it doesn't matter how much money or any of that stuff. It's people are now being allowed to open themselves up to life again. They're starting to reconnect with themselves and life. And as that's happening, they're starting to reconnect new life experiences for themselves. And that's the beautiful dynamic of empowerment, because a lot of us, you get on that autoplane and go, yeah, it just keeps happening. Yeah, I'm sure it does. But you can shift it by putting those new thought patterns within it. Those activate and co-create with other people and life experience.
Let me pass something by you for a sec. What do you make of all this talk about a restart?
This is so interesting because in our energy field, we've been hearing this a lot about restarting. Some people are calling it a second Earth. It's very fascinating. I think this is a process. I don't think it's going to, you go to sleep one night and you wake up someplace else. Although I have heard that theory. Which has been interesting. What I feel is that
choose, I know where I'm going if I got to choose.
exactly, right? Well, it depends. It depends. I'm like, where's my dog going to be? That's my biggest question. But what I feel is that the restart is more of an expansion of consciousness, and what's being rekindled and almost like activated, we like to call it activation, is there's a lot of things about the human potential that are being awakened, activated. Some of those live latent within our DNA. Some of those are within our consciousness, and some of those are within our soul memory. Now, when you link all of those things up together, the human that we are now is going to look vastly different than it will look in 10, 20 years as a potential. Do you have anything to add?
And I think that a lot of that introspection, that self-observance, is people have now been left alone to find themselves again. But not only is it the connection of life and, opportunities and careers and stuff, but people are opening up to relationships. They've had enough time to go, okay, Dardo, I found me and I'm 100% incomplete and they're 100% incomplete. But you know what? I'm actually ready and I'm open to see if I can find myself within a relationship. They're starting to go in that way rather than the fear of losing themselves to the relationship. And it sounds like semantics, playing on words, but the way that we approach the universe, it approaches us. And so for me, I'm very honored I have a good grasp on humanity, and at least the awareness of it, that so many people are not understanding what's going on, but they're experiencing it. They're being activated. And that is when it becomes very powerful, is because it's not now a secondhand experience. It is firsthand. And when they have that themselves going, I have no choice but to go, I don't understand this, but I'm feeling it big time, then they're more willing to act on it. And that is happening a lot more.
Let me just remind everybody here, the number to getting on right now and speaking to Jamie and Maggie is 609-663-0153. If you miss it, can't help you. However, if you make the phone call, hey, look, we're here. I can take like as many people who want to come in, because I can see there's a lot of people listening, but nobody, we got one person in the phone right now, and hold on, we'll be to you in just 1 second. I believe her name is Barbara.
Cool.
And, we're going to get over there in that in just a second, but I got a question for you. And I've been dreaming this thing since right after Thanksgiving, Annette. It's either the 20th or the 30th in May. And with your cards, Maggie, is there a card somewhere with a snake on it?
Yes.
Ooh. I have no idea what tarot card looks like. So, I mean, it's just I see this thing like a snake. And what's connected to that, and maybe connected to the 20th and the 30th, and then I see dollars.
Interesting. So, the snake usually and typically in the tarot will be representative of your life force energy. So this is your natural life force energy. You'll see it sometimes appear with the Hermit card, and he carries a staff, like a walking stick staff, and that staff represents a connection and the ability to control, use, send, develop, work with your life force energy in any which way you want to, whether you use it to help you walk through life or you use it as a weapon, or it doesn't make, however you learn how to use that energy. Sometimes they also add the snake to that card because that's also representative. And snake medicine is very transformative. It's very healing. You shed skin and you're reborn into a new energy. So think about, if you're dreaming about snakes, it's very potent medicine, very potent medicine. And what it does is it heals things and transforms things so that they can be reborn into new energy. And it's always a little bit bigger, right? When you shed your skin, you grow into more of your grandness, so to speak. But it also, the Native Americans also consider this, most tribes consider this a very healing, potent energy as well. So a transformational healing process. So depending on where you look at it in history, you've seen it in cultures with the caduceus, right? The medical symbol has the two snakes weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see this above the pharaoh's head, to activate his third eye and his intuition. So this is a very wonderful and beautiful expression of transformation, transmutation, and healing into new forms of energy, new expressions, and it could be new activations as well.
It could be also the wisdom of life experience, that as we gain that wisdom and awareness, we're able to build upon that one step at a time, one experience at a time.
Well, you know yourself. All right. Now that you're on that subject, somebody else said that to me not this morning, yesterday morning, but it was, they said, you're an old fart. And I said, yeah, an old fart that has a lot of history. And I said, the things I said, I forgot. You haven't learned. So I said, call me old fart, whatever you want to. I said, I'm a walk-in library. Are you?
How did they react?
Well, you just turn around like, huh? What do you say to something like that? You know what I mean? Somebody, look, usually when somebody, and it's going on right now and that all over the country. I mean, people are just not being nice to old people. I mean, it's kind of nasty, but it's all over the whole world, just about. I mean, people, it was all over the news net today that seniors in New York getting beat up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just somebody walking down the street and a bunch of guys that got together and beat this guy up. And they say, well, we have these mask mandates in New York, so of course they can't see their faces, so they can't identify the person that are beating up the old people. Oops! Don't rob a bank.
Yeah, remember back in the day, you went into a place with a mask on. That's not good. Now they're freaking out, going, "Why don't you have it on?"
Exactly.
Things
They used to have signs on all the banks that you had to take off your what's this, dark glasses.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, that too.
I mean, give me a break. But what we're doing is right now, when I said the reset, there's so many different meanings of what they mean by that, and it depends upon who you are, where you are, and what you do. Because I mean, I talk to people that are politician type people, and they're like, well, this is for the good of whatever. And like, hey, if this is good for the people, how come it sounds like a trick? You know what I mean? It sounds like somebody's like trying to shove something in this ear and out that ear.
Mm-hmm.
Things. And I said, but if it's so good for us, then why is this happening right now in 16 months? I said, our lives, my life anyway, I've seen the chrysalis of the earth, as it went through its different phases, all the way up. Each time something changed. Come on, I told you, I shook Eisenhower's hand. People today don't even know who he is. I mean, it's like, oh my God, where did I come from? But it's one of these things that we're like, of course life changes and of course things change. And I've said a million times, and so have you, there's dimensions. Each one of those dimensions pass over you or pass for you, or you move from one to the next. And you're doing that all the time, all day. We don't know. When we get up in the morning, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And in between that, this, and this happens. So it doesn't always come out exactly the way you planned it when you left, but by the time that you go home, you go to sleep, and you wake up, and now you got all over the place. What do they call it? Groundhog Day. It's like over and over and over again kind of thing. But people are, like you said, becoming in a more aware state, and it's really getting to me because I'm talking to these people and they're listening to past shows that you have. I've shown them how to do it on their smartphones, and everybody goes home listening to it on their radio.
Cool.
So I mean, you guys are all over the place, and people ask me about you all the time, and I actually know all the answers.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
Walking computer, that scares me to death. But on the other hand, I mean, we've come a long way as far as, and Jamie and I have anyway, and for a very long time, and trying to get people to listen to the other side of the coin. Like we are in a spot right now where we can do what we say we're going to do. It's just that you keep getting that pushback all the time. And that pushback, we have to learn how to overcome that. Like I tell people all the time, they can't sleep, because of all the fear, the rest of the stuff that's going through people's minds. I say, go home, lay in bed, before you're going to go to sleep, what you think you're going to go to sleep, lay on your back, close your eyes, and think of a great thing you've done in your life, or a place that you can vision it, take a vision in your own mind and see it, actually see it. And I said, when you go to sleep, you wake up refreshed, and you wake up feeling like you either did or were at wherever you saw or did. And they said, you're out of your mind. And I said, look, you can say all you want to, but I said, give it a shot. One did. And she came in last Friday, and she said, you're out of your mind. But it worked. First night, she slept all night, and she remembered what she went to bed thinking.
Awesome.
So I was like, yeah. It's like self-hypnotism.
Yeah, isn't it? Kind of like life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. But I always told them, I said, speak to your soul, tell your soul what you want. And I says, it'll give you what you want. Yeah. And they said, well, what do I do? What number do I dial? I said, get off the damn phone.
Just dial one.
Yeah.
Just dial one.
Yeah, well, you can dial anything you want to in that, but just turn around and ask. And the same thing in that when we talk about spirits or spiritual things, ask for it. And I told 1 billion people how to ask for it, because there's ways that you could ask for it that they go, well, okay, that's what you want. Poof, here it is.
But also not only asking, but giving gratitude that you've received it in some way. Yep. Okay, because a lot of people have the open, okay, and please. And when you do that, if you don't give gratitude and accept it as a reality, it's like, oh, you keep seeing this someday. You must want it someday. I'll keep it someday. Excuse me. And I'll be like, well, when's it going to happen? When are you going to act as though I am and I will be? It's that old adage to go, man, most of us are either living in the past or the future, and we don't very often give ourselves the gift of living in the present. And so you've got all of this dink donk that you've got so much movement hanging around with the past of maybe what you haven't been able to do, and in the future as you perceive what you'd like to do, but it hasn't happened yet. So you sit with some anxiety and other things, and then you'll start going around in circles. A lot of people are now starting to just shut it down, quiet, just okay. And then rebooting that computer again. Because to me, the brain is nothing but a computer. Our soul is the essence that animates this physical body in that computer. Mm-hmm. But within it, it can be our own best friend as well. And through tools and techniques, giving ourselves maybe a one word, what makes you happy? Someplace that you'd like to be, someplace you've been. Any of those, people are starting to open up to life again because they've gotten shut down enough from the physical life that one, TV and all that stuff is really kind of taken off. But two, other people are starting to open themselves up with other people now because they're getting such a saturation, I'll say, with them being able to see through computers or TVs or whatever, all of these different realities. And kind of like TV, you can experience it, but you don't have to go through it. It can be the adventure of energy, of information, of expression. And so I'm seeing a lot of people now that are waking up, they're activating, but they're not quite sure what to do with it. I'm ready. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing though, because I've got all this. I'm very successful, all of these, but there's something more that's speaking to me. I'm not getting it. I'm not hearing it. Like, well, then listen, doink. Because most of us are talking, and then when we have our own self-realization of communication, sometimes we'll negate that to go, oh, I'm just mentally wandering or wishful thinking, which the good thing is question it. But the great thing is that may not always be the case. What if you were actually tuning in to your own soul essence, your own soul part of consciousness, and realizing is that eternal being that you can have as much or as little in life, and you're loved just the same. I'll guarantee it. No judgment ever.
I speak to some people out in California. Nice girl that we text back and forth now all the time. But maybe we're both lonely. Who knows? But we text back and forth, and then I've actually told her, and you were actually on the right path with it. The brain is the computer. The soul is the RAM.
I like that. Ooh, that's
okay.
Good.
And the soul is also the energy. And the energy is the battery. One thing connects to the next, and the brain tells it where to go.
Right. So finding some of those connections can make the biggest difference, because then you start to literally connect with yourself.
Yeah.
So
we're
feel disconnected.
We're walking AI.
Ha ha ha. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Huh.
I will tell you, I do remote viewing and some other stuff, but in the mid 2030s, that AI will be running this planet. There are no emotional dynamics in connection with that at all. It is just the information, just the facts. You're only crazy till it's validated. Watch.
Well, let's face it. They still want to put a chip in us so that they know our heartbeat rate, where we are, what we're doing, who we're interacting with. Because if you put two of those chips together, one person knows who the other person is. Oh yeah, this is so far out of whack. I mean,
and it's only science fiction till it's science fact.
But it is
like,
it is fact.
It is. I know.
They just didn't knowingly start putting it in people. I mean, can you imagine? Can you just imagine a line outside a PlaceNet? Oh, hook me up.
Yeah.
Come on.
And again, without being too conspiracy nutty, I'll just say there's a lot of validity to that. And in the chips, no matter what, trust yourself in whatever you would like to do physically. But for myself, cannot, no, I'm not going to be chipped. I'm not going to get all that kind of stuff. Just from my little awareness, man, it's amazing. And I'm going to just create my own awareness the best that I can. That's all I can do. But if we can have fun doing this together, it doesn't always have to be the scary stuff. It's just what we don't understand, we tend to fear.
I'm not going to get chipped unless I grow a tail.
Yeah, right. Yeah, huh? Yeah.
So one of those things. Hey, listen, there's somebody on the phone. Let's we got a couple.
Cool.
So let's see who's who. Barbara, you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Barbara, how you doing?
Barbara.
Here's
I'm
Jamie
good.
and Maggie.
We're doing good. So what's up? How can we be of service to you?
I'm just wanting a little bit of mediumship to see if anybody on the other side has any messages.
Well, that would be great, except for this, we're just mainly doing the psychic aspect, because otherwise we'd go down a whole other avenue. Is there any psychic questions that you have? Any questions at all?
Sure, you bet. My job is getting ready to change. Is this for the better?
Not easy, but sometimes those challenges become a blessing. And in an interesting way, because I don't know the exact circumstances, but I feel like, as you know, you're saying things are changing. I kind of feel like you're being pushed in a direction that sometimes, you know, that we're having to react to because things are just going in that direction. That once that's been reacted to, I feel like you're now starting to at least potentially more effectively go, okay, so if things are changing, where do I want to go from here? What else do I want to do? How much more different is my career or my dynamic going to be? And that is what's happening to a lot of people. They're waking up, they're activating.
Okay. All right.
I also threw down some cards for you, Barbara. And there's a couple of cards that I really love when we look at jobs and potential jobs. And one of those cards is the Eight of Pentacles, which is really great because this is an opportunity to really reap some rewards of how much you've done in life. And it can, and when you were talking about a job, it could be like, oh, this job change could really be beneficial, either monetarily or even something that you feel appreciated for. There's also a couple of cards here, the Two of Cups and the Six of Wands, that really can indicate that there would be some good connections at work, whether you meet a friend or you just like the people that you're working with. Overall, I feel like it's now this time is like going to make you stronger, going to make you more appreciated and more feeling like more connected on some level. And so I also see that this can maybe activate some intuition, some insight for you. So pay attention in your own messages that you're getting, because I feel like this desire to I don't know if stronger is the right word, but there's the strength card here. So either become stronger, more solidified, more feel like it's more concrete, more um, rich, I guess. And it's not necessarily always about money, but I just feel like overall, there's a lot of positive things that can come about. And if you have been feeling, let's say, unappreciated at your job, or you wish that you had a little bit more out of it, or felt like a little bit more like it was intense or solid, I feel like a job change for you is going to be amazing.
Oh, wonderful. That absolutely makes sense. It's within the place that I work to a different department because we're slowing down in my department. I do know people over there very well, and it is something that I already know how to do. So I was really hoping that it would be for the best, but I think you validated that for me. Thank you.
Yeah, and definitely trust that inner gut. But I feel very strongly that this would be a good shift for you overall.
Okay, thank you so much. That
You're
makes it
welcome.
much better.
Excellent.
Good.
And the great thing is she's not going to say it unless it's there. Beautiful thing is you get the credit.
Oh, I believe.
Yep,
I
that's
believe
awesome.
it. Totally believe in that.
And
Some
Barbara,
new
you can,
opportunities.
you can hang out
Okay,
right.
thank you guys.
Barbara, you can
Mhm.
hang out right there and listen if you want to.
Okay, that'd be great.
There you go.
Awesome.
Now we got someone else that's on.
Cool.
Let me see. Renee?
Hello.
Yeah, Renee.
Yes, it's
There you
How
go.
are you?
Okie dokie. Here's Jamie and Maggie.
Hey, what's up, Renee? How you doing?
Hi, Jamie, Maggie. How are you doing?
We're doing great. So what's up? How can we be of service to you?
Well, this is really interesting. After 30 years, somebody came back into my life, and feelings are still there. And I'm just wondering what you think for that.
I will tell you, I feel like you're ready for this relationship. I also feel like, you know, with life experience, okay, now we've grown. It's been many years later. Now you're finding yourself in life again and being brought together again at this time. I actually feel, and it's not going to be like, hey, everything. I feel like it's got a very, very nice, very strong connection, and it tends to build upon itself. So I will just say, energy-wise, I do feel like there's a lot of potential with this 30-year relationship to happen.
It's interesting because it's like kind of like starting over as friends. You know what I mean? And
Yes, and to have the friendship first.
and I'd like to see it build if possible. You know, but I'm trying to play it cool.
Exactly. Perfect. And just let it grow in this together. And the great thing is you're genuinely wanting this. It's not like, oh, okay, whatever. It's, wow, you know, and I feel like I'm ready for finding myself within a relationship now. which tells me you're finding yourself in life enough, or you wouldn't even have that wanting to be in a relationship with someone else. So that's a really good
Right.
validation. And the great thing,
About 14 years. Yeah, it's been about 14 years since I've been in one. So
okay, perfect. So now you've had enough time to find yourself. You're good. And the great thing is I feel like this person does have a lot of similar qualities. Like, just what if it was the life experience circumstances at that time that didn't quite allow it to happen, gave it the ability to grow in its own way, in a natural, evolutionized way. Natural, powerful, not manipulative, just allowing. That's huge, because I feel like this person's feeling a lot like you. Okay, I just make sure it's good. We're good. So there's kind of like going back to your past to keep you into the present moment, to go, you're doing the right thing. And you've got the friendship too. It's not just, hey, it's only the love. It's like, no, do I love you? I like you. I like to have a conversation
Right.
with you, not just like, oh, okay, you're here. I love you. That's great. And I kind of feel like the same for the other person is they're open. And in their own life experience, excuse me, I feel like they're surprising themselves in a good way, because this person, whoever they are, reached out to you, I believe. I believe you said they came back into your life experience. That's pretty powerful. And
Yeah.
the good thing is you're allowing it to happen. You didn't make things happen. You're just doing you, but vibe-wise, you're opening up to life and to relationships. So what's going to happen? Your past is coming back into your present with more power, more connection, more love and acceptance.
Okay.
What you get?
I love that you said that, Jamie, opening up to life experience.
4 years.
What was that, Renee?
We were together. We were together for 4 years, and we actually lived together for 2.
Awesome.
So this is all like, new territory in a way,
Yeah, but also a little bit of comfort as well as the new territory. Isn't that a beautiful blending? It's like not everything has to be scary. It can actually be beautiful. And now you're possibly getting a little bit more validation of from where things were back then to where they are now, and how possibly each one of you might be more open and receptive to find yourselves in this relationship. That's powerful. That's the empowerment of love. Because you're not made to, you're opening up to this.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I also, what was that, Renee?
I said I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, no worries. The internet's a little spotty today, so we're all jumping all over each other.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with Jamie. Like, there is the words activation that we were talking about that earlier in this show. That's a piece of this for both of you. I think you're both being reactivated into life. It will actually spark it. I know you said you're going to kind of play it cool, but wait for these fireworks to happen. Oh my goodness, right? You have some shifts and changes that this is going to make energetically for you just by engaging and experiencing this right now. You're going to experience it on an energy level, but also on a heart level very deeply. But there is a shift that's going to occur in your energy, whether it kind of wakes you up a little bit, springtime is here, or whether you decide to actually shift and change the way you use your energy, even in your life. I feel like you're going to have a little pep in your step, and there'll be a lot more energy that is flowing, and it's time to shift and change that energy. This is something that I feel you've been asking for. And I also feel like you feel like this is a reward. And I don't know why you might feel that way, but you might be like, this is what I've deserved my whole life. Thank goodness. Right. So there is a quality of energy around that as well. And don't be surprised if this actually, I know you want to play it cool, but if it kind of goes a little bit quicker than you're expecting and escalates to the point where then you talk about moving in with each other. So just know that that's the potential of the cards that are laid out. But there's a lot of fire here, a lot of passion, and it's going to shift your energy greatly. And I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you. Well, I know that we're going through a lot of these the solar flares and everything are causing a lot of activations, and we're being downloaded a lot.
Mm-hmm. Much more.
So definitely, doing my best to, vibrate at a higher vibrational energy level, definitely, because I'm not much of a winter person.
Sounds like you're doing it, because look at, excuse me, look at the rest of the planet. In this way, there's a lot of separation. All of a sudden, you're connecting with others now, not being separated, which tells me you're starting to connect with
Right.
you, or you wouldn't be having that physical experience. And so the great dynamic is you've already
Right.
been connected to this person. You've lived with them. I believe that you live together. So you have a good awareness. It's not like, oh, I don't know how it would be at all. It's like, no, take yourself to those days in that, feel how you feel now, and put that new energy vibe of the good old days here, now, right now. No one will ever complete you. You are already complete and 100% a person. But now you're opening up to be able to let other people into your life without a distraction. It's become an attraction. That's a really good thing. It just tells me you're open and you're having a communication relationship with yourself, or you wouldn't be bringing somebody in from your past to connect with you like you are doing now in the present.
It's true, because I'm not usually one that thinks you could go back with the past. So
Yes, ma'am. Surprise.
it's interesting,
Yeah.
right?
And it can change. It can be a great thing. Yes, ma'am. Mag, what else? Yep. Does that help?
It does. Thank you so much.
You got it. Have fun and just enjoy. Let it vibe what it is. Love, empowerment, and fun.
And you can.
Thank you very much. Thank
You
you,
got it.
both
Good.
of you, and thank you, Bob.
You can. You're very, very fine. Hey, you can stay
right,
in
you
there
guys
if you
have a
want
good
to, and you
evening.
can listen. So no problem.
You got it. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
All righty.
Seeing more people opening up to relationships. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. Not only work, personal life experiences as well. They're getting strong enough. They've been left alone to find themselves enough to go, okay, I found myself. Okay, good. Now it's no more a honey-do. It's a honey-did list. And the great thing is they're catching up to what they thought they might have been always behind on things. Now they're right where they need to be going, okay, I don't know, but I'm ready. I'm ready to bring people in. Yep, click. And not only that, not only with relationships, but with workships, family ships, friendships, a lot of people being activated in many different ways and getting many different end results of the same activation experience. It's really a beautiful variety of things.
And don't worry, Jamie, the honey-do list, it just gets longer. It's never really done.
Hey, yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I gotta go look that one up. I'll be right back.
There's a list, and then there's another list, and then another
Oh,
list.
Listen, a
And
lot. You just got to change the you to an I.
Yeah, there we go.
it's unlimited.
Exactly.
love
You
that.
know, it's one of those. You know, we're talking about this awareness thing that's going on. You ever notice how when so many things go wrong, so when so many things are against you in any way, it doesn't have to be personally you. It could be things that are around you. I mean, we have that every day. But your inner self seems to look for that positive thing in your life for some reason. I mean, you can have, say, you have 100 buttons on you. That's what makes you work. 100 buttons. 99 of them are punched negative. One is positive. That one positive will take over the other 19 or 99 just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're looking, that's the power. The power is in the positive, not the negative. Everybody keeps on saying it's a power, it's a power, it's a power. No, it isn't. They're cowards. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, it's a cowardly way of getting your way. It's like a little. I mean, I can only say this because I had kids. You had kids. I mean, it's one of these things that when a kid goes in the corner and goes, I don't want to go near you. I want to touch you. I don't want to do it. Leave me alone. You know, that's humanity right now, all over the world. You got a little bit of that in their hearts, but that piece of positive that we can, your podcast, what I do when I go and talk to people, that little piece is just like energy. It just skips from one person to the other. It's worse than it makes the vaccine and the virus look like kindergarten, and it can spread faster and awaken more people faster than anything else. And it's so cool too. You know, it's like
And
hey,
being able to allow it to happen without having the fear, because the fear is the big motivator and demotivator. So it's in this that now you're talking about the empowerment of self-realization, that one realization can outweigh the other 99 heavy realizations that we keep telling ourselves or experiencing again and again and again. And I think a lot of people, kind of like as you're bringing up, they've had enough time to find themselves again with less distraction from humanity and more attraction from their own soul to go, who am I? What do I really want to do in life? And why am I here? Why am I here? Because a lot of people are having their star seed activations happen over the past few years. Those kinds of activations, a lot of people are like, I don't feel like I'm from around here. I don't know any. And I'm like, brilliant. That's exactly right, because you're not. Nobody's originally from this planet as humans, to my awareness. But a lot of people are opening up to life experience and they're questioning. They're starting to go through that Solodex of life experiences, that eternal being, and wanting to see if they can discover more of who they truly are, which is everything. It is all one. But people are now have been left alone to go, I want to be a part of something. Yep. Now it's the connection of consciousness.
Well,
they're on a good thing.
You were right on one of the things you said. I mean, let's face it. The Earth is a big rock.
Mhm.
Okay. It was just here at one time or another. God turned around and God said, "Oh my goodness, look at all those rocks." And he just out there, and there it goes. Here's your universe, whatever. But whatever it was, this is the way it all started. Now, look at some other things about it, too. We have DNA. That DNA came from somewhere. Okay? The original DNA did not come from this rock. Could not have come from this rock. And the same thing for where that one came from. It didn't come from its original rock either. See, now we start bringing God in here. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, like you go back, about, I don't know, 6 or 7 trillion years, and that DNA started somewhere.
And here's the thing.
Made us.
You bring up a very interesting point. Trillions of years. A scientific, and again, I'm not a scientist, no doctor, nothing, but they've discovered that humans are basically energy, vibrational light beings. Mm-hmm. And with that definition of being energy in quantum physics, I believe they found that energy can neither be created nor destroyed.
Right.
But I always say, well, wait a minute. If in a practical scientific way, that means we are eternal beings and we have always been, and yet this universe has only been here 14.3 billion years. We're not from this universe or something like that.
But don't forget the questions that are answered, but not really answered.
Give me an example.
That's quantum physics. It's
it's a reference.
Or what if? That's the biggest. What if? And of course, if they had defined what they're coming out with, which they do very well, the what if part is the part that always gets me. I mean, that's when I start getting kind of crazy. I mean, if I find somebody that smart, I have a couple of guys over here from Florida University. This is South Florida University. And that I talked to a couple of these guys there for about 15, 20 minutes. And I tell you, I had these guys up against the wall. I'm serious. And I mean, I'm a questioner. I have been all my life. The only way to get answers is to ask the questions. Same way with the universe and everything else. Ask them, they'll give you the answer. This, I had no idea what it was until about 15, I sound like you, 15 to 17 years ago, somewhere around here, that I found out that, like, hey, like these people that are dying around me and everything. But I went back to that place once and saw people that had died. So then they're going to that place. Well, what if we could see that place, but not be at that place? And sure enough, I had already been there because in '92 I took my little trip over there. But these are things that most people don't know about. But if you've gone through it, if it's happened to you before, and you sit and you talk to people usually don't believe what you're saying, but it opens them up. It opens up their possibilities. It opens up their minds to things that are going on. Because if I explain what it was like, or what it felt like, and what it looked like, and what was the landscape of the place, and who I met, who I saw, what I felt like, all all those things. And I mean, I can be very, very descriptive. I mean, you know, you'd have to be there to be that descriptive.
Look
So,
at that good memory. How did your soul feel during this experience? Did you feel the love, the empowerment?
but yeah, I told you that it was weird because like you're in one place 1 minute and you're in another place, then like you blink your eyes faster, faster than that. It was like they take love and throw it at you. I mean, it was the most powerful knock you could ever have in your time. I mean, but we understand. All right, say we have a lover, a wife, a partner, whatever, and you feel that connection. All right, that is not even 20% of what I felt.
Yep.
Not even. I mean, it was the most amazing thing. I mean, I've told you a billion times already, I think. I wanted to stay there. There's no way I wanted to come back. There was no way. I mean, it's like it's the greatest thing in the world. And as I said, the thing in that with the guy with the whoever it is, the statue with the world on the shoulders.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Atlas.
Yeah,
Atlas, that's it.
Yep.
I mean, it was like somebody took the rock off my shoulders. I mean, you're just light. Your mind, there's no worries. There's no nothing. All day long, we think. And sometimes that's not a good thing. But you think about things that you have to do, and your mind's clogged with all this stuff. Oh, I could do this. I could do that. I could do the other thing. I have bills. I want to do this. I got to send my kids to school. I got to make peanut butter and jelly, whatever it happens to be. But all those things that are welling on you all the time, when you're in the other place, it's gone. There is nothing there, just love.
love. Yep.
And I mean, it's very, I mean, everybody says it's very, very scary, but it's not really scary. It's shocking.
Surprising. Yeah, I was like, God, it's really like this. I had to get out of this body to even realize that that's happening all the time.
You don't even think about that. I'm
Yeah.
serious. You don't, there's no, you don't even think about going out of a body or anything else. You're just there.
Exactly. You know, you're bringing up a very interesting point. I have a lot of clients, and a lot of them are doctors, and every one of them, a lot of them are oncologists and a variety of others. They've all said, when we brought somebody back, the first things coming out their mouth are, "Why'd you bring me back?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, exactly.
Because you didn't sign the right form.
Yeah. What's his tattoo? His chest with you know, what is that? What is that called? Don't resuscitate or
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Yeah, DNRs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, across your chest. Yeah.
But like I always share the fact, unless you have your own experience or you graduate life, the level of love, the empowerment, no judgment ever on the universe's part, ever completely loving and accepting. You know, and I always say, every time I have that experience and I become everything, the words that come back to me when I come back is, "And who are you now?" Holy crap. But again, it's all the scientific stuff that is starting to validate a little bit more of the spiritual, the esoteric, and the things that were all la 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 to go, it's becoming a little bit more practical now. And not only that, we can only function from our law of equivalence, no more, no less. And so people are now going on that inner space astronaut journey and discovering more of who they are and getting more of the life fullness that they're experiencing, because they don't always understand it, but they're experiencing it. They're making their own connections in their own unique way. That's powerful. And they're allowed to.
You also get the what I guess some people feel that it was like a second chance or something. I didn't feel it was a second chance only because I wound up where I started. So it was like, what kind of second chance is that? But on the other hand, I was told, feelings that I got, the message that I got was that I would be okay.
How did you get that message? In what way?
My dad was there.
Okay.
So I mean, and it was a whole different ball game, because it was like, you know, he was nice but stern.
Yep.
You know, I did not belong there, and that was it. Boom, gone.
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fascinating? Because to me, there are times where I've heard people going, "Oh, I graduated and then that person pushed me back. They said, it's not your time.
Right.
And then I came back. Well, it's kind of powerful. And that's another human. In this case, this is your dad, I believe, that you were sharing. Yeah, I don't think it's your time yet. Not yet, but go back. And instantly. And then with that connection, did it feel like good old dad? Did you know his soul? Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's why there is no guesswork. It is
No
precision.
doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. He, as a matter of fact, and this was years later, and then I was talking to an aunt of mine. He had his uniform on. I was the last one from my family that saw him alive. We used to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and that before he went to work sometimes, and we'd go downstairs and then we'd go have some coffee and everything else. Now I was only 9 years old. You know what I mean? It was like, hey. So we'd have a big cup of coffee and stuff and that. My father would say whatever he's going to say and that, and then he'd kiss me and goodbye. It was like out the door and go to work. That night at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we got the call that he was passed. He graduated in Long Island and had a heart attack while he was driving his truck.
Damn.
Yeah, he took like 7 cars with him.
Oh God.
Empty. No people. They were parked. They were parked on the side of the road. He just scraped them all.
Yeah.
Truck. And it was a priest, by the way. A priest that came down to the place and everything and found him and gave him last rites and all this kind of stuff. But, you go through that going in your mind, that the last view of a person alive with you, that uniform he was wearing in our other place. There was 3 Teamster buttons on the side of his hat for different things that the Teamsters do and everything else. And there was a red one, an orange one, and a blue one. Orange one, blue one. Yeah. So he had all 3 of those, and I told my aunt about it. And my aunt says, "How'd you know that?" Because my aunt knew what he had because he was only he used to do Long Island, New York. And every once in a while, he'd stop by my aunt's to see my grandmother. And it just so happened that he happened to have the same hat on a day or two before he passed away to stop by them. So they saw the buttons on the hat. And when I told her what the thing was, she goes, "You're kidding." I said, "No, I'm not kidding. That's what he had on."
Look at how matter of fact. And
my
she's
aunt,
like,
yeah,
huh?
my aunt was like stopped, And so when I tell people about this, the feeling that I always get is many people think that when you die, you're dead, you're gone, poof, And it's amazing how they step away from after I sit there and tell them, what it's like. And I said that I've steered them to a couple of authors of books and things. I said, go read the book. You'll read and understand what I've told you is in the book. I didn't read the book to get my story, but you'll see similar stories in the book. That's what it is. We come back. Nobody knows this. I mean, I don't know. It's not. There's so much going on in our life that a lot of times that we don't believe something we should believe. Like you believe in your cards. How many people don't?
Oh, quite a few.
Okay. Now, they believe in psychics. Do they? It's like, ooh. It's all a big question no matter how you go.
Question everything. Yes.
If you're gonna believe somebody that says, well, you're gonna come back, they don't realize that when you go to wherever you're gonna go, your soul goes to that place, and that soul is recyclable. They come back. You can't remember.
By their choosing.
Yeah, you can't remember your old life when you come back, but you come back as a baby. Again, the only thing when I was up there, I told them I will not go to a kindergarten. That's it. Nope, no kindergarten. I've been there a couple of times. Nope, no more of that stuff. But on the other hand, we are all eternal beings. Eternal of what, just like you say, unconditional love. Unconditional love is something that was built inside of us millennia ago.
Yes.
It's always been there. It's whether we have enough sense to let it out.
And there's some other person, I believe his name is Albert Einstein. Yeah, he was some scientist guy. And he wrote a lot of letters. And in one letter, he had these people put these letters away for decades. He said that humanity is not ready for this information. Well, when they took out the letters and opened them up, on one letter that he had addressed to his daughter, he wrote that scientifically, we have found that love is a real energy. It is a life force energy
Right.
from which all things come from. I'm like, yes, exactly. This is a scientist who had the knowledge to obliterate life, also had the knowledge of what gives life, love, in a scientific, practical way.
People say so many times, and especially the college kids, they're the biggest ones. I can't learn that subject because I just don't like it. That is not. I usually correct them. I said no, you can't like it. I mean, you can't learn it because you don't love it. Energy, love opens your mind. Hating it doesn't. It closes your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think in other words, if you make yourself a failure before you're a failure,
You'll be a failure.
lose.
But you're a successful failure. You did it.
That's right. Exactly. Now, on the other hand, now look at the other way around. If that same person, okay, turns around and says, "I want to know more. I want to do this. I want to be a screw maker, or whatever. Doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
But if you do that and you say that and you believe that and you love that, you will be exactly what you want to be. It's like so many people that want to know about their jobs. And we go through this all the time. I hear them too. But, people always asking that, gee, well, I want to know whether I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do. I said, have you been looking around? I said, yeah, I found some jobs and everything else and that, but I don't know if I'm going to get an interview. I said, what kind of job? So they tell me all about the job. And I said, you just said too much. He said, what do you mean? I said, you must you're going to love to get to that job. That's the job you want. So he goes, well, yeah, but you see, my chances are, I said, your chances, I said, here's right. And I usually poke him in the chest. I said, your chances are right here. If you say you want it, go get it. I said, it will come halfway. If you go halfway, it'll go halfway. And I said, if you want it that bad, use this and use this. And I said, you got it made.
Yeah.
He goes, you sure? You know what? That damn kid got the job.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I swear to God, I was. He wanted to manage Papa John's. Oh, but he's been doing it, for times and that between a couple of places that they're down here. But he just didn't want that kind of thing. That he wanted to do burgers. So he said, well, if I do burgers and then I like it better and the people are better and they're faster and it's a faster environment. I said, okay. Do you know he got the job and he went I told him to go right to the person that originally got in touch with him. The original person. Go back to him and say, hey, I'm ready. I said, just say that. He says, no, I can't say it. I said, just say that. And he was like, okay. Well, he did. The guy laughed. And he said, when can you start? I was like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's positive things. You guys talk about all to your pods.
Yep.
They talk about all the time. Positive things. It works.
And putting it to the test to get your own end result. Now it's real. Because anyone I'm talking with, I'm like, God, no, that's beautiful. That's very real for you. I need to experience it myself. So I know for me, it's real. That kind of connection is people are also looking at you as the end result of whatever it is you're talking about. And in this case, it's like, ooh, you got a really good energy, Bob. And not only that, you're a really nice guy. And so you know what? I'm going to let you know if that stuff happens. And look, this is something I believe a gentleman that you were talking with. He said, hey, go do this. He's like, nope. And then all of a sudden, this is you're Joe Schmo. He doesn't know you much that I'm aware of. But now that you've opened that door of consciousness and he's allowed it to be opened, that now he's more receptive to you and the information of what you're sharing.
Well,
Not
like
a naysayer, but a yaysayer.
yeah, I had originally said to him, I said, look, the only thing I said between you and the job is you.
Mm-hmm. And
That-
now he got the very thing he wanted by
Yep.
talking with you to go, okay, sure, I'll try it. Okay, and bip, and he did it. Now he's looking at you to go, what else should I do? That's why he was more open to go, well, I don't, okay, I'll do it. All right. And then the very thing, because he didn't have to, you sure, hey, you know, why don't you say this to this person? And the exact person, not just somebody. Here, who's the first person who connected with you? So from the very beginning, you had him approach and reapproach the very beginning positive vibe of experience.
Exactly.
And so now he doubled up on it, man. And the good thing is he got the benefits of self-realization. You didn't make him, you allowed it to happen. Hey, here's a perspective, not better or worse, but different. And sometimes people just need to know there's a different perspective. Because most, if it's not mine, then it's got to be they either like it or they don't. It's like, really? Well, how about if you can experience your own likability and build upon that? And that it doesn't always have to be compared to the challenges. It can be beautiful on its own and stay that way, where you can see the pristine beauty of that life, that person, that experience. Doesn't always have to be compared to the positive and negative so that I know how it feels. I already know how it feels. So for me, I allow that to emanate through my beingness. It is love. It's the empowerment, not narcissism, self-realization. We cannot give what we do not have.
Maggie's thinking.
Oh, she's
Well, going back to what we were talking about with activations, this is exactly how they work. You open up your heart, you apply a little bit of the head if you need to, but then you're meeting it halfway, because the universe right now with activations, whether they're DNA activations, Renee was talking about solar flares, we can be activated in so many different ways and in so many different arenas. But when we connect to something that we want to activate ourselves to, it's exactly as you said, Bob. Open the heart, open the mind, and allow the activations to meet you and greet you where you are. Right. And it is it's a symbiotic relationship with the universe, and also with, your spiritual team, and with co-creating with the world around you. And it's beautiful to watch all these things come together, because when we are ready to activate into higher levels of consciousness, or activate into different arenas unexplored yet within ourselves of who we are as a soul, all we have to do is put out that heart, put out that calling card. And what we get back is like, whoa, like our dreams do come true at times. Like this happens. These activations are they're just ready. And the more we can open to them, invite them in, call them in, and receive them with that open heart, this is how they really function well.
Oh yeah, and they don't stop either.
Yep.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, they just keep going and going and going. As a matter of fact, I even pulled a blind side on this guy. I went into the place that he was at, and I'm not a burger guy or anything like. I mean, give me the Italian sandwich about that big, and I'm good. But I went in there and got bacon burger. But anyway, I got that in a large fry, which is like, forget about it. Well, my doctor would probably kill me if she knew I did that. But, and not that I go to the doctors or anything else, but she said the older you get, the least you should do this, And I said, well, okay, fine. Yep. And I like cross fingers, toes, eyes. But I went in there and I had seen him there. So when he wasn't looking, I turned around and I said, I didn't get enough fries in this bag. And the guy turns around and he goes, bah! Like the whole place turned around. He said it so loud.
Yeah.
And it was like, he was happy. It was good. I mean, the guy was a different guy.
Look at that. You're just being you, and you're being playful. Yet sometimes not everyone would get that. And you had enough guts to go, hey, man, I need some more. And he's looking at you like, oh, you're freaking hilarious. This is great. But now look at the ripple effect. It apparently got the attention of other people in the restaurant there.
Oh, God,
like,
yeah.
Holy cow. So now, Yeah,
You
but
want to make the call to the guy with the things that to put your hands up like this, and the whole thing. Yeah.
But look what they're also doing. They're associating that connection with the happiness, with the communication. All of these self-realized energies we're starting to live because we're being allowed to find ourselves again. And the more that you can find yourself within life and not lose yourself to it, the more that you'll find the life within you. And then you begin to live and be happy, not just exist or survive.
We're pretty spiffy little humans, ain't we?
We are. Amazing. Yep. And so much more.
Oh, God.
Bobby, always good, brother.
Yeah,
Always good,
we got one of these days. You got somebody coming up, right? Dude?
Yeah.
No?
Huh?
What was that?
What?
You got another customer coming up?
Actually, yeah, I've got to go someplace. Yep. Sure do. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Oh, so we're
Yeah,
going
man.
to get stuff going on here.
Yeah. Love you, brother.
This is going to blow people away. Meanwhile, hey, listen, in 2 weeks from now, you can see Jamie and Maggie again. Oh, my goodness. To everybody out there, listen, think, feel your heart, feel your soul, feel yourself, ask for what you want. The world is yours. God bless y'all. Not Charles.